Your appointment today by calling 217-824-4991. Advanced Eye Care, modern eye care, old-fashioned caring.
WTIM. Good morning, Central Illinois, and welcome to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. The show is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and we start things off today with Jack Myers, a public affairs specialist at the Social Security Administration. Jack, good morning to you.
Good morning, Reed.
Yes, good to have you on, and I appreciate you working with us in coming on the 8:40 time slot instead of the 9:40 time slot that you typically do. And let's get right into it then. So first things first, let's talk about Social Security cards and updating information, and talk about kind of how someone would go about getting a Social Security card or updating information or anything like that would become relevant.
Yeah, absolutely, Reed. Social Security number and card-related issues are the most common reason that people visit Social Security offices. The most common type of transaction that we handle here. Depending on what you need to do, and actually even in some cases where, you may be able to complete your Social Security card-related transaction completely online, or you might need to visit an office. If you're going to need to visit an office, it's probably because we need to see some documents. If that's going to be the case, you do need to know, it's very important, that we can't accept photocopies of documents that are needed for Social Security card related business. So we must see certified copies or originals. We don't need to keep them or anything, so you don't need to make us, get special copies for us. You just need to have them when you bring them in. If you visit an office, we'll return those documents to you during your visit. So you'll leave with them that same day. I do recommend, if you're going to need to visit an office, that you make an appointment. It's just going to make everything smoother for you. It'll be a much more efficient visit. So you might wonder, how do you know if you're going to need to come in? And the best way is to go to our website at ssa.gov. Once you're there, you can click on the top where it says card and record. That'll launch basically a question section where we'll ask you a few questions to try to determine what it is you're looking to do. As you go through those questions, most of the time we're going to have you complete the application for your Social Security card related transaction. And once you submit that application, we'll either process it online or we'll guide you to schedule an appointment to visit a Social Security office. So it's a very intuitive process, and it doesn't require you to know a whole lot about our end of it. It just requires you to know what it is you want to do. And we ask you the questions and kind of guide you accordingly down the path. So again, that's ssa.gov. And then once you get there, click on card and record, and then it'll start walking you through the process. And basically how you answer each question sort of determines the path that you take and, what the next question is.
Yeah. So, and I would imagine, with the website, there are probably hundreds, if not thousands, of different kinds of transactions that can be done with the Social Security office, and it's I'm sure a nice little roadmap there. So, let's say I go on, I do the online form, and it says, okay, you got to make an appointment at the office. Will it tell me what it is I need to bring? Any other information that I would want to take down? What should I know about that?
Yeah, that's a great question, Reed, and it does. If it's going to tell you that you need to visit an office, like I said earlier, it's because you need to show some documents to us, and so it'll go through and let you know kind of what type of documents we need for what it is that you are needing to prove or verify. I would encourage you to take a good look at that and make sure you bring those certified copies or originals in. And then also make sure you write down the number that it gave you when you submitted that application, because when you come in for your appointment, if you give us that number, we can pull up the application that you did online, and that way we can get you served more efficiently. So we won't have to re-enter all that stuff you put in. We'll just pull it up from the number that you gave us. So that's really helpful. Um, you might wonder, well, what determines if the application can be processed online? And one of the real good cheat sheets I can offer, or tips I can offer, is if you just need a replacement card for yourself and you're 18 or older, if you don't need to change anything, we can typically process those requests 100% online. If As long as you're able to log into your My Social Security account, which you'll be routed through as part of that process we've been talking about. If you don't have an account already, you can go ahead and create it and then do this the same day. And one of the things that we'll need for that is either a state ID or a driver's license. So as long as you have a state ID or you have a driver's license, you can give us that information and we'll be able to process that whole thing online. You'll get your card in the mail just like you would if you came into the office. Now, if you've gotten married, and these are just a couple types of examples, Reed, but if you've gotten married and you chose to change your name, it is very important that you update your name with Social Security. You want to get that corrected on your Social Security, or updated, I guess I should say, on your Social Security record. In some states, unfortunately not Illinois yet, we can verify the proof of marriage electronically and process the application to do so online. So those states, we can do it 100% online without you needing to come in. But as you go through that path of questions, we'll ask you, where did the marriage occur? And if it's one of the states we can verify electronically, you won't be directed to visit an office. If it's not one of the states we can verify electronically, then it'll tell you to go ahead and schedule that appointment, and it'll let you know we need to see the certified copy of the marriage certificate. So again, it's an intuitive process, and it all starts at ssa.gov. Then click on card and record at the top of the screen, and you'll be off and running. I should point out too, it's free. There's no fee for a replacement card or a Social Security card. So, just be aware of that. If you're landing on a website that's somehow trying to charge you money, you didn't make it to ours. So make sure you're at ssa.gov. And a huge red flag if there's any kind of ask for money on that type of transaction.
That is helpful to note as well, with the cards being free, and knowing to watch out for if you're being charged for that. So I want to go back to what you mentioned about proof of marriage and putting in a request for a card for a name change. So you said Illinois can't identify or can't verify electronically, but in other states you have. So is this a case where, like, let's say a couple got married in a state where you can verify electronically, and then they moved to Illinois or some other state where you could not verify it, then they would be able to do it electronically?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because it's not so much a factor of where you live. It's all about us having access to that document, that marriage certificate. So just to give you an example, Read, some of the nearby states, and this isn't an all-inclusive list, this is just the nearby states here. But Arkansas, Iowa, Kentucky, Michigan, Missouri, Wisconsin, those are all states where we can verify electronically the marriage certificate. So if you got married in any of those states, even if you live in Illinois, we would be able to process that name change through the website, because we can verify the marriage document with those states. So it's all about where the marriage occurred. And the good news for everybody who's listening is, you don't have to know that list. You don't have to know which states we can verify electronically and which ones we can't. The question and answer section will ask you which state you got married in. And if it's one of the states that we can verify electronically, then it'll, proceed accordingly through the system. So it knows you don't have to.
And then in terms of like those states where you can verify the marriage certificate electronically, is that because like the states have laws that make them, more easily accessible? Is that kind of how it comes about?
I'm not sure if it's so much tied to state laws as it is just, the arrangements being made between our agency and the registrars in those states. Similar things happened when we started being able to do the state driver's license and IDs for replacement cards. Each state holds those documents differently. There's no national that I'm aware of, database of those documents. So we just have to go through as an agency and make arrangements of how we can verify. And there's, security issues and stuff that have to be worked out with the registrars. And so it just takes time to get through each particular state. We're continuing to add more as we go. And, hopefully we'll get to the point where we're not quite at 100% even on driver's licenses and state IDs. But we're a lot closer to that than we are with marriage certificates because we started that earlier. So hopefully we'll continue to progress and add more states that we can verify the marriage records, accordingly. And, some of those are not even necessarily held at the state level. Some of those are county level, which, makes it that much more difficult to go ahead and get that all taken care of because you just have a lot of agreements you have to make. And, there's just a lot of work behind the scenes that goes into verification of those documents.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially once you get to the county level. I'm talking with Jack Myers, Public Affairs Specialist at the Social Security Administration. Let's take a break. We'll talk more right here on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
Hi, this is Julie Sanchez with People's Bank and Trust. Hola, mi nombre es Julie Sanchez con People's Bank and Trust, and I am here to share information about our Save by Spending program. Save by Spending, round up, where we round your debit card purchase to the next dollar and put that change in your savings account. Also, our Save by Spending rewards program. You can earn cash back on all qualifying signature-based debit card purchases. Call 888-PBT-1954 and learn more about Save by Spending programs. At People's Bank and Trust, we put you and your savings first. People's Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Parents, get your kids ready for the new school year with help from the Christian County Health Department. Now at 730 North Pawnee, across from Taylorville Junior High School. They offer back-to-school immunizations for children entering kindergarten, 6th, 11th, or 12th grade at little or no cost. And while you're there, ask about fluoride treatments to help prevent tooth decay in children and youth. Make your kid's appointment now so they're ready for school. It's just another way the Christian County Health Department is working to protect, assure, and improve public health in our community.
Kick off the school year with fun at the Christian County YMCA. Join us Saturday, August 1st from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the Back to School Health and Resource Fair, hosted by Taylorville Memorial Hospital. Enjoy music, games, activities, and community resources for the whole family. Donate to our sustaining drive, and we'll waive your YMCA joining fee. Plus, fall soccer starts in August with a free soccer clinic on August 22nd. Come play, connect, and start the season strong at the Christian County YMCA.
While there's still plenty of warm summer days to enjoy your pool, now's the perfect time to plan ahead and schedule your pool closing. And don't wait until the last minute. Call the experts or stop by Southern Ledge Pools and Patios in Taylorville today. And while you're here, stock up on those all-important pool chemicals so you'll be ready when closing day arrives. Southern Ledge Pools and Patios in Taylorville. Let us make your backyard dreams come true.
Hi everyone, Nicole Patrick here, your local country financial representative at 1305 West Bresser in Taylorville. I'm proud to recognize the Tornado student athletes that represent our community by being the exclusive sponsor of the WTIM Nicole Patrick Country Financial Player of the Game. During Tornado Sports broadcasts this school year, WTIM announcers will select a player at the end of each game who will receive a certificate for being named our Player of the Game. Good luck to all the teams this season, and go Tornadoes!
Perry Stampa here, owner of Central Illinois Truck Service, just off I-70 in Greenville. Let us repair your diesel engines with state-of-the-art equipment, a brand new facility, and certified technicians. Find out more by clicking our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
SIU Center for Family Medicine is here to help with back-to-school and sports physicals. Healthy kids learn better and play harder. Call 217-824-1134 today to schedule your appointment. That's 217-824-1134. SIU Medicine. Forward for you.
WTIM.
And we're back on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. It's sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I'm your host, Reed Kim, and I continue with Jack Myers, Public Affairs Specialist at the Social Security Administration. I want to move to a somewhat of a darker topic when it comes to Social Security survivor benefits for children who have lost a parent. What should folks know about that, since it sounds like some benefits can kick in right at that point?
Yeah, you mentioned the darker topic, and unfortunately, that is one of the most difficult experiences a child can face. There are obviously emotional challenges that go along with that, but in addition to the emotional side, families often must have to navigate new financial realities when a parent passes. And what you might not realize is that Social Security can help support children through monthly survivor benefits. So, who is eligible? Well, if a parent worked and paid into Social Security, their surviving children should be eligible for monthly survivor benefits. In order to qualify, the surviving child must be unmarried and under the age of 18, or unmarried and under the age of 19, but still a full-time high school student. Now, it is important that that is high school. I have to clarify it. That doesn't extend into college, but under the age of 19, still a full-time high school student. There's also the possibility, Reed, that an older child could qualify if they're unmarried and disabled before age 22. So, basically that's a disabled adult child benefit, and depending on the severity, that might last well into adulthood, potentially even their whole life. So that's something out there as well. How much the child gets is going to be determined by the work record of the deceased parent and the number of eligible children, or a spouse potentially, who are receiving benefits on the record. And the reason I say that is because there is a family maximum that we can pay out based on the deceased worker's earnings record. And so the more people who are receiving benefits, then it may come into play. We may have to adjust a little bit because of that family maximum, or we prorate out for the number of people. So I think the best thing for a parent to do to try to figure out what their child might be eligible for is to look at their My Social Security account. So go to ssa.gov/myaccount, or just navigate to ssa.gov, sign in or create your My Social Security account. When you're in there, you can look at estimates of what you would qualify for in retirement benefits one day. You could see what you might qualify for in disability benefits, but you can also see what your children would qualify for if you pass away. And I think that's an important thing to understand, because it helps you as a parent with some peace of mind of knowing if something were to happen to you, what would your children be eligible for? And, a lot of times we focus on how much life insurance we need to purchase. Well, sometimes we do so without even realizing that you're already, in a way, kind of purchasing life insurance when you pay those Social Security taxes every time you get a paycheck. So take a look at that, ssa.gov/myaccount, log in or create that My Social Security account, and then look at those estimates. And for this topic, just focus in on what your children would qualify for if you were to pass away.
All right, so good information to have there for parents of children about that. If it gets to that point, how would someone apply for survivor benefits for a child with about a minute to go?
Yeah, great question. So the application for survivor benefits is one of the few types of applications that's not available on our website at ssa.gov. So for that, you'd want to make a telephone appointment. You could give us a call at 800-772-1213, or you could go to our website at ssa.gov/locator, look for your local office and find the phone number for them. Give us a call and schedule that appointment. We can go ahead and take that application over the phone and get you set up for those survivor benefits.
All right, so something else worth looking at as well. Jack Myers, a public affairs specialist with the Social Security Administration, has been our guest in this portion of the WTIM morning show. Jack, as always, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure, Reed. Thanks for having me.
Yes, yeah, it's always good to talk to you and get clarifications on all things Social Security because, well, it's certainly a complicated setup, and that's why we have you here. And thank you for joining us here on the WTIM Morning Show and your information station. We'll be back in 10 minutes or so with another conversation, so please stay tuned.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville. 96.1 FM Taylorville. 107.5 FM Shelbyville. 107.9 FM.